Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Prursuit Live. I'm your producer, Chris. As always, is your co-host and creator, Mr. Dave Hawkins. Nothing, Dave? You can't even hear us?
I hear him.
I guess Dave's got some technical difficulties. Listen, it wouldn't be a standard show on Prursuit Live if Dave wasn't having technical difficulties. So we'll get back to Dave. But tonight we got a pretty special show for you. I think this is going to be a fun one. A lot of good stories here. So please, everybody, welcome RJ. And forgive me if I mess this up. Krajcsovics.
Krajcsovics, close enough. It was good.
All right, I was close. I tried. All right. So I don't even know where to begin with this. It's you're a very accomplished outdoorsman. So I almost don't even know where to begin with this story. Dave, did we get you back yet, buddy?
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Thank God.
I don't know why. I have some local fireworks in the neighborhood, and I completely lost everything.
Dave,
for about 30 seconds.
Dave was getting ready. He was getting ready. So
I don't know if you can hear him, but there's some serious mortars going off. I have no idea why. I apologize for that.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you, Dave. It is what it is, man. That's what you get for living in East Jersey. All right,
you know, yeah, that's it.
Those of us up in the mountains of New York, we don't have to worry about that up here. So
that's right. We're back at it.
That's it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? You want to get right into this? I think this is going to be this is going to take us right to the limit. We got a lot of content to pack in here.
Absolutely. Yeah. You ready to do it?
Let's do it.
All right. So RJ, again, we spoke a little bit before the show briefly. Thank you again for taking the time for joining us. Here on this show, we're very big on anything outdoors related. We like to give people a platform really to share their stories, share their experiences. And I think you're going to fit the bill for that quite perfectly. So if you don't mind, why don't you give some of the listeners and the viewers a background on yourself? You can start as far back as you want. Where you grew up, what got you hunting, any fun experiences along the way, and we'll take it from there.
All righty. Yeah, I grew up in central New Jersey, started hunting at the age of 10. My family were farmers, so that was a big family tradition, start hunting. Mainly whitetail, deer, and then later, I guess in my early 20s, then we started getting into filming. So then I got picked up by a company, Extreme Outdoors in New Jersey. It was a New Jersey-based company, and it started to grow pretty good. We got pretty big, and then one day the company got sold. So I was a little devastated by it because I really thought we were moving forward. So then I got into comparative archery shooting, and I ended up getting picked up by Bowtech for their shooting team. So I shot competitively, all over the country for a couple of years. And then my wife at the time said, let's get back into filming. So that's when I was good friends with Ralph and Vicky Srencerello at Archer's Choice. So I went and met up with them, and they were saying, yeah, we'll take you on as pro staff. So I've been with them for the last probably 10 or 12 years filming for Archer's Choice. So that's where I'm at now. I ended up retiring from my job at Comcast in New Jersey. I moved out to Colorado and bought their house, and they bought a bigger house. So
that's pretty cool. All right. Well, you dove right into it. You let the cat out of the bag early. So that's we can touch on it now. Honestly, what has that experience has been like, working with Ralph and Vicky over the years? Obviously, you've been with them some time now. What's that progression been like, even for Ralph and Vicky throughout the years hunting, and then yourself having to evolve constantly for all the new adventures?
Yep. I can just tell you this: they are exactly off camera as they are on camera. They are definitely characters. We definitely prank each other a lot. You always got to keep your guard up. But I will tell you this: it's a lot of stress too. People don't realize to try to film for the outdoor channels. There's a lot that goes into it. A lot of behind the scenes that people don't know about. A lot of time that we're not hunting, that we got to do a lot of filming where you think we're hunting. So it's good. It's fun. It's a lot of wait time. I mean, I've had times where the one time had to go to the dump, out here in Colorado. Ralph called me and he's like, "Hey, can you come film me in Montana on an elk hunt?" I'm like, "Yeah, when do we got to leave?" "Not too bad. I'll pick you up in 45 minutes. So I had 45 minutes to pack for 2 weeks.
Oh man,
So,
that's
and then
tough.
another
I have
time
OCD. I wouldn't be able to do that.
another time we went to Illinois for a week, and I was there a month before we left. So you're on the road quite a bit when you're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any favorite destinations that they return to, like certain camps that you really just enjoy being at?
Yeah, we went to J&M in Kansas. Outfitters, that's a nice one to go to. A lot of times we went to Illinois with a friend of ours, Dean. He's got a really good piece of property. I've been to a lot of places. I mean, a lot of camps are really good. They really treat us really well. There's no one I could say is really good. They're all pretty good.
Sure. Do you happen to have a favorite species that, when you hear that they're going after, like, oh, I'm ready for this one?
I mean, I love to go to New Zealand to film red stags, but I haven't got that all asked yet.
Yep.
But
well, listen, that's on my bucket list. So when I finally book it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, or the Yukon bull moose is another one I'd like to go see someday.
Okay, you're definitely
Also
speaking Chris's language there.
I'm just listen. You're talking to the guy who's the big adventure bow hunter. I'll let you know.
Yeah, Chris, why don't we tap you in a little bit? Obviously, with your with what your goals are for your hunting career, we'll get you into the mix a little bit here, talking about the travel hunts.
All right, I guess we can get into this now. Everybody's gonna hate me now because now you're giving me the platform to talk about it. My big thing is Africa. I love safari hunting, and I just came back in June from my trip. Had an awesome experience at 8Com Safari. Shout out to 8Com Safaris and Red Sky Safaris. But is that something that you would ever consider doing?
Oh yeah,
maybe a Cape Buffalo. I'm just saying, might know a guy. Now,
no, I think could be nice.
Now, out of all, I know New Zealand is up there. A Yukon bull moose. What other adventure hunts in your mind? Not even just to go professionally, but just for you to experience as a hunter. What else would be on the top of that list for you?
The top of my list is my Kodiak brown bear with a bow. That's my dream hunt right there that I would love to do someday. Either you have it or you don't. I like to shoot them at like 20, 25 yards.
That's it. Listen, I'm right there with you. I'm a dangerous game guy. I killed my first Cape Buffalo this summer, and it's I think a grizzly bear with a bow is definitely up on my list as well.
What's your bow setup looking like for that? What would you be shooting?
I probably wouldn't change too much. I mean, we shoot Hoyt. I'd probably just stay at 70 pounds, maybe just kick it up a little bit. I'd definitely go with a fixed blade rather than expandable for it.
Okay.
I mean, if you put it where it needs to be, you'll get the job done.
Sure. Do you tend a little bit heavier on your arrow setup, so you tend lighter or kind of right in the middle?
I'm right in the middle.
Probably about 500s or so.
I noticed now that I'm out in Colorado, it's a lot more further shooting than I did on the East Coast.
Okay.
It's definitely like everything I've learned about whitetail hunting over 40 years, I could pretty much throw it out the window because it doesn't come in to help me when I'm out here in the mountains chasing elk and mule deer.
Yeah. No, I could see that being a factor. It's at the point Chris is starting to rack up a few Matthews bows. And honestly, with what you got planned, Chris, for your future hunts, that might actually come into handy. Besides just having a backup bow, you could almost tune a specific setup for whatever hunt you're going on, beforehand. I'm way
ahead of you, Dave.
I figured that. Chris is like a in-house gear junkie.
My D3X is in 29-inch. My phase 4 is 33, and my lift is in 33 because I set them up for different hunts.
Right.
The same. My V3X, I got the shorter one. It's tuned down to 65. You know, that's a lighter setup. It's a smaller bow. So this way, if say I'm sitting in a ground blind, it's a little bit easier to shoot that 29. And I'm 6'4", 250. I'm not a small guy. So if I'm sitting in a ground blind, it's a little bit easier for me to maneuver a smaller, lighter bow as opposed to my, phase 4 of my lift maxed out at 70 pounds, 33 inches. It's just different setups. My sights are different. I have the adjustable pins on my bigger bows versus fixed pins on my regular bows. So one day you'll grow up and you'll understand this, Dave, and we'll get you off Long Island. We'll get you out to the real world, and you'll experience what it's like to really hunt.
That's right. So the running joke, RJ, is Chris and I are actually oil and water. We couldn't be any further apart from the way we hunt, our gear setups. I'm shooting like a 10-year-old PSC, but you know what? The thing's still shooting straight, still killing. So why change it? But while we're on the topic of the gear, I mean, obviously the evolution of the gear, without a doubt, year after year, these bows, or even rifle, whatever you use, but specifically with the bows, have you seen a change in the style where some of the hunters, maybe not necessarily Ralph or Vicky, but overall, have you seen tactics change because of the technology in the bows where you can actually take that 70-yard or 80-yard shot now?
Yeah, that's what we definitely see that a lot. A lot of people are shooting a lot further. A problem that we try not to do or see is promote far shots.
Sure.
Once people see somebody on TV take a shot, 70, 80 yards and kill the animal, everybody thinks they can do it, but they don't realize how much practice goes into being that efficient shooting that far. I mean, a prime example is Levi Morgan. I mean, in my opinion, he's probably one of the best archers there's out there. And you'll see him do a 100-yard shot at an animal, but there's nobody like him. That guy shoots every single day. Right. He knows his equipment inside and out. Most people don't know their equipment that well.
Yep. I mean, hell, at 100, you got to be training at 130, 140 to make your 100-yard shots in that comfort zone. To be effective at 80, you better be shooting at 100 pretty consistent.
I practiced for an elk hunt one time, and the outfitter was telling me be efficient at 100 yards. I'm like, whew. So I shot every day all summer, and let me just tell you, even shooting at a Mackenzie elk at 100, the slightest little wind, I would have to hold almost off the elk at 100 yards, and the wind will just carry the arrow, and then I would hit the target. It's just amazing, and that's not even a hard wind. That's only like 5 or 6 mile an hour crosswind at 100 yards. That's how far your arrow is going to blow.
Do Ralph and Vicky shoot lighted knocks by any chance? Or are you allowed to talk about some of their gear setup?
No, I don't know. I don't know what they're shooting. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because they're shooting smaller diameter arrows right now, and I think that what they're shooting don't have light up knocks.
Okay, because I was just thinking from your standpoint, from being on the camera, and that's these lighted knocks can be a blessing. If you got to look at some footage post shot.
It is. The thing is too. We found when you film, we have settings. Like once it gets, we actually probably lose a good 10 minutes of hunting compared to everybody else. Because once it starts to get a little dusk, we stop because then the footage starts getting grainy. So, that's why we can get away without lighted knocks because we won't push the envelope.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. I mean, I tell you what, Chris was a big proponent of me getting a camera in my hand last season, and I was kind of hesitant about it. Like, again, don't get me wrong, it's a simple little starter camera, but I've had so much enjoyment keeping that with me in the woods, just for random encounters. Obviously, for the deer coming in, but it's really become a hobby of mine. Now, not only does it stay with me while I'm hunting, I keep it in the truck with me anywhere I go. It's my binos, and now my camcorder goes with me. Did you find yourself at one point, like earlier on, like, man, I really enjoy being behind the camera, on top of being out in the wilderness? Like, what was that connection like for you?
It was nice. My opinion, I'd rather be in front of the camera than behind the camera. Yeah. It's more stress to be behind the camera than in front of it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because when you're the hunter, you're just worried about harvesting the animal. When you're the cameraman, you're trying to worry focus. You're trying to worry about your audio. You're trying to, there's so much more worry about the auxiliary cameras because you're running GoPros and everything else. So you have a whole bucket list you're trying to go through. It's like a circus up there where you're the hunter, that you're just focusing on the animal.
That is true. That is true. I mean, I've never hunted with another hunter in the same tree. Chris has a teammate on team only bows. He broke the ice with him. So, I mean, Chris, what's that like? Speaking from your standpoint, having two guys in one tree while you're hunting, let alone now you're trying to film it. Everything's got to be so choreographed. Besides, it's hard enough for one guy. Now you got to worry about two guys.
Well, I mean, it's not just filming. I had the added pressure of guiding as well while I was on these hunts. So it was trying to get any. I don't want to call him a client because he's one of my best friends, but it's like, I was trying to get him his first deer. So that every time that I was taking him out, we're in the same tree. I'm worried about making sure he can get set up right, making sure everything is good, making sure the film is good. And then while I'm trying to sit there and film, I'm also watching him, making sure he's doing everything right. And it's definitely, it adds a whole new aspect to everything. And I will say, like, I'm a big saddle hunter, and that was a very big help, because if he's on the front of the tree with the climbing stand, I'm behind the tree so I can kind of hide a little bit. But it helps because I can kind of quietly move around and adjust myself as needed. But the added pressure of just being more than just worrying about the shot, just as you said, now I have to worry about, am I in focus? Do I have the one camera filming him? Do I have the other camera filming the animal? Is he doing everything right? Is the animal in the right position? Now I have to wait to tell him to shoot, and it all adds up. Fortunately, we were able to make it work out last season. He was able to get his first deer, so it was a big thing. But it's not easy, and not only that, I will add, if you're guiding somebody and you're taking somebody else in, trying to self-film is not easy for anybody who's looking to get into that, because now, instead of having RJ behind the camera, now I have to worry about making the shot. I have to worry about what I'm moving. I also have to worry about my camera in front of me. So filming as a whole is a whole new world, as Dave has now found out. But there's just so much to it. And I will caveat onto what Dave says. It has made it a little more enjoyable for me. I've noticed that I film more deer, and I have a lot of fun filming deer without even reaching for my bow.
Right.
It's just, it opens up a whole new world. There was last year I guided a couple goose hunts, and all I did was carry the camera and called, and I had a phenomenal time. And I'm a big proponent. I've said to people, some of my best times in the woods, some of my best times on the water, never picked up my bow, never picked up my gun, never picked up my shotgun. It was just me in the outdoors, and filming. It's a way to connect with that. Not only that, you can then relive that moment and share that moment with other people.
Hey, when all works out and you lay down a good hunt and then you're high-fiving, it works out good, but it's also a lot of stress to get to that point.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Like, people, and to your point, we kind of touched on it. Like, let's say this show is a half an hour long. That could be weeks in the making, or a couple sets in the making to get that half hour of pristine footage. And that's not being negative. That's just the truth. That could have been 10 hunts to fill that half hour slot. Granted, I'm sure that when you spend that much time in the stand, I'm sure there's a lot of inside jokes. You got to kill the time somehow.
Oh no, there is. There is.
It's almost like getting stuck on a plane next to somebody. Sometimes it's just like, man, I'm getting sick of you. We gotta get out of here. Just being in such tight quarters day after day. Do you have any funny stories like that you could talk about? Just even if it was just chopping it up in the tree, like a funny story, you're just trying to kill the time.
Yeah, well, we had one where I was in Kansas, and we were in a box blind, which everything is super loud.
Yeah,
and I never bring my phone. Ever. There was one time I didn't realize I had my phone, and then out of the blue, somebody I haven't talked to in 6 months decided to call me.
Of course, yeah.
And it was so loud, and I'm scrambling because I don't even know where my phone is. I just hear an echo, and I'm trying to shut it off.
Yeah.
And then I get the evil eye, like, really? And it couldn't even have been a minute and a half later, and a deer walks out right in front of us. I'm
That's
like,
funny.
oh.
That was me before when the show started. Everything froze up on me. I'm like, Craig, here we go. You figure it out, though. You get through it.
I will tell you, I filmed also. I filmed Trent Cole before with Blitz TV. He's from South Jersey, and he called me up and asked if I wanted to come film a hunt for him. And I thought he was going to have me film his like New Jersey hunt. And he's like, no, we're going out to Illinois to film. I'm like, all right. So we went out there, and it was one of the weirdest setups. The one day they take us in, and we're setting in 2 trees 20 yards apart. And I'm like, that normally when you're filming, you're in the same tree.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is weird. So it's a cornfield, then it goes down to a steep draw. So Trent is up where you can see the cornfield, and I'm halfway down the draw. Well, he starts rattling, and he's looking. He's telling me there's a buck out in the cornfield, but I can't see it. Well, I turn and look across the way, and actually, I thought it was a cow. That's how big this deer was. And it turned, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. So I'm looking at Trent, and he's got his back to me. I can't whistle, so I'm just smacking my chest real loud to get his attention. I'm trying to tell him a deer's coming. Well, here it comes. It turned. I'm filming it. Well, now the deer's in front of me, and Trent is 20 yards behind me. And I'm like, I don't even know when he's going to shoot. So he's coming. I'm like, I'm just going to stay on the deer the whole time. And it literally comes 8 yards from me. I'm looking down at it. Well, then I hear him shoot. Deer runs down the creek, and I film it going down the creek, and I pan the camera back, and I pan over to him, and I give him the thumbs up, and he's like, yeah, I missed it high. I'm like shaking my head like, no, you didn't. Give him the thumbs up that he got it. He goes, yeah, I know, I missed it high. I'm like, Trent, you hit it. No, I didn't. I'm like, Trent, I seen the arrow go in one side, out the other. You got it. Right. And then he's like, get down. Let's go look at the footage. I'm like, oh, boy. When footage, slow motion, there it was. So the deer ended up dressing just over 300 pounds that he shot.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk
It
about
was
cows.
it was just a hammer in Illinois that he shot. But yeah, that was one of those.
Diabetic deer on the hoof.
Well, when I seen it, I actually thought it was a cow, like a moo cow. Right. And I didn't even realize. I'm like, oh my, it was a big 11-pointer, and it came down. But yeah, it was one of them weird ones because I'm like, we're 20 yards apart. How are we going to put this all together?
Sure.
But like I said, you improvise, you make it work, and it actually came out pretty good.
No, that's pretty cool. Like you said, it started off like, how the hell are we going to pull it apart? But it was meant to be. I mean, has there been any scenarios where you know for a fact that a shot wasn't taken because the footage wasn't up to quality? Does that happen?
A lot of times, and that's one of the biggest things. So many animals we could have been harvested, and when the quality, I had it before on a bear. I was up in New York, and I had a bear come in, and the camera was filming, and the bear was well over 500 pounds. Wow. And I have him at 15 yards, and the cameraman's like, nope. I'm like, please, can you do anything? Nope, let it walk. And it's hard, a lot of times. People don't realize the animals that we could harvest, but we can't because we don't have the footage.
It's tough. I would feel like as the hunter, I would have the final say, but I've never been in the scenario that yourself has been in. So,
well,
what do you think about that, Chris? I feel like I can take all the pictures on the ground.
I can definitely relate to this. Last year, now I hunt mostly by myself. And my 8-pointer last year, I was planning on going into work in the afternoon. So it was 11 o'clock. I was like, all right, let me start packing up. And the first thing I always pack up is my camera gear. Camera gear goes in the bag, took my arrow off. I'm getting ready. And all of a sudden this 8-pointer comes bounding through the woods. I'm like, what the hell? I pull up the binos. I get a good look at him. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a shooter. Finally comes to rest 42 yards in front of me, and I'm like hiding behind the tree trying to knock an arrow. I'm like, all right, I guess he's gonna have to get it. No footage on him, but you know what? He still tasted great, and I got the pictures afterwards. So to me, not getting the shot was worth taking that shot, I guess, to put it plainly.
I think that's where the everyday hunter has to realize that you're an everyday hunter. Let's get the animal on the ground. You could celebrate when the animal's successfully harvested. You could take pictures and videos the rest of the day. Like, focus on that shot. Number one, you owe it to the animal to put an ethical shot on it. Let's recover it. And then, except for scenarios like we're talking about tonight, for the everyday person, yeah, it's great to try and film, but do not let that distract you from those critical 5 to 10 seconds where you're trying to shot place and get it done. That's my opinion anyway. So
Dave, you actually need to start seeing deer before you can
thanks,
start
buddy.
talking like that.
Thank you. Anyway, that's strike 2 for you, by the way, making fun of the host. In your yeah, exactly. So RJ, obviously, as you progress in your journeys, and you've been, you spent some time in the game, talking about like the social media aspect, have you seen more of a positive influence from the social media? Do you happen to think it's been a negative side effect overall?
No, it's good. It's different. I mean, I grew up in the ages of like DVDs. Those are a thing of the past. There's nobody puts out DVDs no more. Everything is, facial media, I call it. Everything is on YouTube. Everything is real quick anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
David,
I mean,
in case you're wondering, those were those shiny discs.
Yep.
I know what DVD.
I know
What
before
VHS you put in the square ones.
Yeah. Yep.
I hate to say, I still got all of them.
I still got a few, and I swear one of my favorites is my Craig Boddington on Buffalo.
Yep.
I think I can never get rid of that.
So,
anyway,
there's a lot more people who are trying to, I don't know, get into the hunting industry, and it's a tough industry to get into. Sure. I have no desire. I'm just happy what I do. I don't have no desire to get my own show or anything like that. There's just so much that, like I said, it's all behind the scenes that nobody really sees. Stress that goes on.
Yeah, I would almost love to be a part of it anyway, just to see for like one season, like the amount of work that must go in between prepping the land, whatever food plots they're running, hanging stands, property maintenance, property borders, fences, posted signs. I'm sure everybody in the area is trying to sneak on the property some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they have endless stories of people trying to get on the property.
No, like I said, it's a lot. Yeah. It's like it's literally 365 days. Every day you're doing something.
Exactly.
Like I said, the camera, the hunt's over. Now you got 12 or 15 different camera batteries you got to charge every night.
Yeah.
People don't realize you go in for a hunt in the morning, you're going in 45 minutes early because it takes you that long to get everything set up.
Yep. How much is your camera gear? You think about 30 pounds total?
Probably a little more. My pack's probably about 45.
Oof.
So
that's a lot. Just a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to carry. Like I said, it's multiple cameras. Because a lot of times too, it depends on the hunt. We'll bring even a spare big camera with us in our backpack just in case.
Right.
The camera arms, all the wireless mics, the shotgun mics, the GoPros. So
it adds up.
It does add up.
It adds up.
Just bring a 1/4 arrow with the shoulder bracket and a camera. That's like 10 pounds right there.
Then you do all that work, you don't even see a deer. It's like, now we can do it again tomorrow.
Do it again. Chris, do we have any questions coming in from Instagram or YouTube anywhere?
No, we got a lot of people, riding on you right now, which is par for the course. But no questions yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Right, sounds good. Well, I'm not clicking buttons. Like I said, we had my one foul up for the show, so we're gonna let it ride.
That's it. Just don't touch anything, because
that's it.
Next thing you know, you're gonna just blow everything up.
So, all right, buddy. Well, producer Chris, you hop in, man, and take over for a little bit.
All right, so I do want to ask you a couple questions, and then I really want to ask you the tough questions after that. So I'm going to throw some real easy ones at you. The first one is, what's your favorite camo pattern, and why is it Sitka Subalpine?
Well, right now we all use Strata is who we're using, and I do like it. Believe it or not, I really do.
All right, next question. And I ask everybody this. What are 3 things on every pursuit that you go on you have to carry with you? Besides like the obvious stuff like your weapon, your license, the camera, the obvious stuff. What are 3 things that have to be in your pocket or your pack every time?
Trying to think now. My pack's always loaded. Probably the main thing is extra batteries, because we go through a lot of batteries all the time. That's probably a key. Like I always have a 20 pack of AA batteries always in my backpack. Probably that, a flashlight, maybe a good knife. I don't know. My packs are always loaded because I'm always ready to go. So we always keep our packs loaded. So I don't know if there's anything in exactly that I carry.
All right. See, I was asked that question a long time ago, and everybody rode on me for my answer because I still carry a compass. And now I ask everybody because I want to know. But
I got my compass on my phone.
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Well, and this is the story that I tell people is one day I shot a doe. It was right at last light. I started tracking her, and then wouldn't you know it, it got dark. I got turned around. My GPS died. My phone had 2% battery. I started dragging this thing out. There's a coyote following me like 10 yards behind. So finally, I'm beat tired. I'm not really sure where I am. So I use the last 2% of my battery. I pull the deer up. I sit down. I call my buddy, who was he was the best man at a wedding, and he was at the rehearsal dinner. And I called him and I said, "This is where I was hunting. This was the direction I was headed. This is where I think I am. Come get me. I'm lost." Phone died. So after that, I started carrying a lensatic compass, and that's it. That'll never die. My GPS can die, but I'll know where I got to go. And wouldn't you know, the guy that had to come get me is sitting across from me right now.
I will say, though, I will not go hunting if I don't have my binoculars. Like, I have to have a pair of binoculars when I go hunting, because I'm the person, like, I want to look first if it's going to be something, if I'm the hunter, if I want to shoot it, I want to get as much notice as I can if it's a good deer. Same thing filming. I try to glass them real quick before I bring up the video camera to see if it's worth it or not.
Now, let me ask you this. What's a brand you trust in your optics?
I mean, we've had everything. We've been sponsored by Zeiss, Leica. I won't say there's a pair of binoculars that I really go crazy over. I mean, the pair I got now is a Nikon. They're probably 8 years old. I don't go too crazy over my optics. I can usually see pretty good through any pair of binoculars you give me. I mean, you got to remember, like, I grew up my whole life, in New Jersey. If you were see 80 yards, that's good. Out here is a little more different. We're glassing out here, so I still haven't upgraded. But the binoculars I have are Nikons.
Okay.
If you're in the cameraman position, will you just use your camera, like, instead of using an optic and just zoom in?
Nope. I still like to use my binos real quick, because I've had my bino buddies. They're always on my chest real quick. I have a wind checker on there too. But I mean, I'm quick. I can look real quick and put it right back in the pouch and be like, "Yep, it's a good one. Get on it as soon as we can."
Yeah, right. Especially with the archery hunt, you want to take every advantage, every minute that you can to get your mind right, get your gear right, make sure you're knocked up, and just let it rip.
All right, now we're going to get into some of the tough questions. So I hope you're ready.
Yep.
All right, so I want to go back to when you first started hunting. Like, what really got you into hunting? Like, what was your first experience in the outdoors?
My first experience, like I said, my whole family. So, like, it was my grandfather, my dad, my mom. We all hunted together, and especially during the 6-day farm in New Jersey. So I remember when I was 10 years old, it was just going out in the woods, sitting. And actually, I used to sit not too far from my grandfather, so he'd keep tabs on me because, like I said, I was only 10. Back then, it was just all the camaraderie of hunting with family and the stories everybody would tell and to come back, for breakfast or lunch, and who got to see what and what type of animals. And I guess I just like that part of it, like being in the outdoors. And I always want to be in the outdoors if I have a choice. You know, I mean, like you said, some of my best times in the outdoors are not getting an animal, just sitting out there seeing. You know, I watched a fox pick off a squirrel off a tree one day, and I'm like, you never get to see that unless you're out in the, you know, out in the woods. So I don't know, and it just progressed. The more and more I tried to get a little bit better. You know, I tried to film, and like I said, I shot competitive archery for 4 or 5 years, which was nice. I just like anything in the outdoors is what I really enjoy.
Now, at what point did you really catch the archery bug, if you will? Like, how old were you when you really first started shooting a bow and then said, I got to keep doing this?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to probably say I was maybe early 20s. I seen a thing about a 3D shoot. I'm like, let me go, you know, see what it's all about. So I went down. It was a little bit south of where I live, maybe 45-minute drive. I went down there and I seen it, and I'm like, okay. And I was watching these guys shoot these targets, and I'm like, all right, this is what I want to do. So I signed up for a league shooting 3D targets, and it just evolved. I couldn't get enough of it. So,
all right. And I guess at what point in your career as an outdoorsman did you really say, this is what I want to do? This is the path I want to take in my life. Like this, you know, at what point did you decide that I'm going to pursue a career in the outdoor industry? Like this is where I want to go with it.
Probably, I'm going to say probably late 30s or 40s is when I really said, you know, this is where I really like to be outdoors. Whether, like I said, hunting, filming, shooting. Probably that time in my life later.
Did you feel like it was a gamble at all, or you felt confident in it?
I felt confident in it. A lot of it too is financially. You know, you don't have that money when you're 20 years old that you do when you get older. You know, I hate to say, like a lot of these, to go on a lot of hunts, you don't see 18, 20-year-old kids going on these hunts. You know, it's not till you get a little older, you get a little mature, you can save up money and you get money to pay for these hunts that you get to go on.
Right. Okay. It's a valid point. I just feel like there's always like that one turning point where it's like you got that everyday job, and then somebody just says, you know what? I'm just gonna trust my gut. I'm gonna pack it all up, give my 2 weeks notice, and I'm gonna go for it. You know, and I'm sure sometimes it works, and I'm sure on the other hand, there's a lot of times it doesn't work. But
yeah,
you only get one chance.
Yeah, you're right. You only get one chance, and take your chance when the opportunity is there. Take the gamble, and go for it. I mean, I've been very fortunate the way stuff works out for me. But I will say this: when an opportunity arises, take it. That don't be scared. That's what I was when I got the chance to buy this house out in Colorado and move away from the East Coast and 2,000 miles away. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I took the jump and did it. And, you know, because I don't really have no family out here. You know, I'm 2,000 miles from my whole family, everything, and I'm out in the middle of nowhere. But, dude, I got a house of 50 acres. I see elk, mule deer, bear every single day. I look out my window. I'm like, this is what I wanted. I waited my whole life for this.
Good for you.
So,
good for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I took the chance and took the gamble, and it all worked out. I wish I would have did it 20 years earlier. That's all.
Yeah. Well, little bit of hindsight, but like you said, it's not easy to do, you know, in the earlier years. There is a certain time, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But it sounds like it's working out great for you.
No, it is. I'm very happy.
Good. What else we got, producer Chris?
All right, so I guess even fast forwarding, let me kind of bring it back to the now. What do you kind of see as like a goal for you personally as a hunter? I would say, you know, maybe in the next 5 years, something that you'd like to personally accomplish.
In the next 5 years, I definitely would like to go get my Yukon bull. I would like to go to New Zealand and shoot my red stag. I'd like to go to Africa. I haven't been. I came close a couple times. We were supposed to go down there when COVID hit and they shut it down. I still like to go down to Africa. It's weird. I grew up my whole life just chasing whitetail, and now I'm out here, and where I'm at is almost like whitetail's a nuisance. Like everybody's chasing elk, everybody's chasing mule deer. I climbed in the last 2 years. I did 4 14ers. We just did another which is 14,000 foot mountain we climbed.
Wow.
We just did one 3 weeks ago, and I probably seen 30 goats on that mountain come right up to us. You know, and my first mountain I climbed, I seen 7 sheep come right above me. So that's something you don't see till you get out here. Now I'm addicted. I've been putting in for my points so I can try to draw my sheep tag or my goat tags.
Yeah. 14,000 feet. If I get 14 feet of elevation change here on Long Island, that's a lot.
Oh, it's a lot.
14,000.
It took me a good 6 months, you know, to move from New Jersey to Colorado. My house is at 7,500 foot. In New Jersey, I was 26 foot above sea level.
Yeah,
so like I'd walk across the driveway and have to take a break and gain my breath.
Yeah.
But I will say this: I'm in probably the best shape I've been in years living, you know, that altitude with low oxygen.
I bet. I mean, what type of training do you do? You know, is it just like you throw on a weighted ruck and you do a lot of cardio at that point to prepare?
Yeah, we just do a lot of cardio. Like you said, even just I'd walk a few miles around my house every day down the road and back. But again, we're at 7,500 foot. So just walking that builds you up. When I go back to the East Coast, I feel like I have a zillion tons of energy when I get down there. It's so easy to breathe. But you don't have to put a pack on really to get in shape out here. Just get up and walk up and down these mountains is all you need to do.
I believe that, without a doubt.
I could definitely relate to that because in the mountains of South Africa when we were hunting, I do remember one of our PHs actually was making fun of my hunting partner John, and he was saying, "Oh, I hear you huffing and puffing all over here, like, oh man, you must be getting fat." And I even had to tell my PH, I'm like, "Listen, you got to realize we live like 50 feet above sea level. We're not used to this."
Well, here's another one I'm going to throw at you. The humidity at my house every day is like 6%.
6?
6.
That was how it was in Africa. It was warm, but dry. It was so nice.
Like you said, it's just when I come back to visit, I'm like, what is this? You know, like it's humidity. Exactly. Like it's so much different out here with no humidity.
All right. So let me ask you this now, without giving away any, you know, trade secrets or, you know, anything that's an upcoming production or something like this. What do you see professionally for yourself, maybe in the next 5 years, something that you'd like to accomplish or a direction you'd like to see yourself headed?
Truthfully, I'm very happy where I'm at right now. I really am. If I could just keep doing what I'm doing right now and, you know, go to places that I get to go, I'm content. I really am. Like I don't want to be any further. I don't want to be traveling all the time if I don't have to. So I'm, like I said, I like to go on some pretty cool hunts, you know, to actually hunt and not film. But I don't have no desire to go any further with the filming career that I already have. I'm content with what I'm doing right now. When they need me, they call me. And then if not, I got some free time. I'm going to try to do my own. Like I get to go home this week. I'm going to try to do some elk hunting because, like I said, elk is roaring up right now where I'm at.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of, you know, guys that I talk to from out west. All I'm seeing is pictures of elk, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, this is a really good year. They're saying that the bulls are ready, but the cows ain't. So like this has been phenomenal. If you're calling and just be patient, they're coming in really good this week right now.
All right.
Okay.
Now we did get a question finally from the audience here. So this is from our buddy Squatch. What would be a person that you would really want to film? And I'll add to that question saying not just film, who's a person that you would really want to hunt with?
Probably the Mark or Terry Drury. I mean, I can honestly say I've met every single person in the hunting industry. I really have. But I probably maybe the jury's Mark or Terry. They got a good platform with the way they do stuff. And I've called them before when I had issues with different food plots. I've reached out to them. That'd probably be who I like to probably spend a little more time with.
Yeah, that whole family is certified deer killers without a doubt.
Yep.
Generations. It's in their blood at that point.
If I meet somebody with the last name Drury that doesn't hunt, that'll be the day.
Imposter. Imposter. I don't have any more questions, honestly. I mean, we enjoy, like, we always just like to let the guests tell their story and everything. And it seems like you're honestly just you're just very happy and grateful for this journey that you've been on. And sometimes you don't need to add to it, you know, and it's really, it speaks volumes for when you find something that you truly enjoy doing. It's not necessarily work or a job, even though it is, but you know, you're actually living that scenario that people strive for. So I kind of tip my hat to you without a doubt.
No, I'm very blessed. I really am. I mean, I've had some bumps in the road, but this journey of my life right now, living out here on top of a mountain and where I'm at, and like I said, I'm blessed every day. I really am. I try to take it in and be like, this is what I worked my whole life for, or something like this. I kick it back with probably the thing that really helped me was my dad died at a young age. My dad died when I was 21. He died when he was 42. And all we ever talked about growing up was going on the hunts, doing this. And he was a man who worked 6 days a week to pay off everything, pay off the business, the house. So there's no bills. And he said, I'm going to retire in 2 years and we'll start going on these trips. And then he come down with cancer and died. So like, he's never got to go on a hunt. So that's why I try to do everything, because I don't want to be like him, work my whole life. And then when I get older, I want to try to do stuff, you know, and that's why I try to do as much as I can now, travel as much as I can. And if the opportunity is there, take it. Don't say, well, someday, no, do it now. Don't wait no longer.
Dave, I hope Kate is watching. Those are words to live by. Get ready for Africa next year, buddy.
I guess so. That was well said. Well said, without a doubt. It's true. It's true. You don't know what's coming around the corner. I think without a doubt, you're kind of fulfilling some of your father's dreams, and you're living them. You know, you're able to document them. You keep the camera rolling as much as you can, and that's about as best case scenario you can do for them.
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to get into some real technical questions.
Good.
Cameras.
Yep.
Now, if you could kind of run us through like your general loadout for a simple any hunt, just pick a run of the mill hunt. What's in your pack that you're taking out camera wise?
So we'll have the big camera. Obviously, depends. We have multiple big cameras. Depends on which camera we have. Then we'll have the tree arm. Then we'll have 3-4 GoPros that we run. Then we also put trail cameras out on video mode. So we'll set up 2 trail cameras on video mode, and then we got to try to figure where we may shoot the animal or where he's going to walk. So we'll go out there and put our trail cameras on sticks that we have. Set the GoPros up, our mics, wireless mics. So, like I said, my back is probably about 45 pounds, and we usually bring 5 to 6 cameras on each hunt.
Now, what kind of cameras are you running for your big cameras?
We're running the Sonys right now. So Sony, then sometimes we'll dabble with the Canon, but right now we're running the Sony.
Okay. Any specific model that you guys like to stick to, or is it just I'm not going to say exactly what model that we're using. But it's up there. It's everything's got to be 4K. Everything that we do is 4K. So now, as As far as like camera arms, when you're running those, how many camera arms are you setting up?
Just I'll bring one. It depends. We have the bigger camera. We got a big aluminum one. If we have a smaller camera, we'll just bring like a muddy arm, or one of those that we'll set up to the tree. Depends on what size camera, we're gonna bring. If it's bad weather, we're gonna bring one of our
cameras. They get heavy.
Yep. So if there's a chance of rain, we're gonna bring a smaller camera. We don't want to take the chance of one of the bigger cameras getting wet. We've had many a times where I've had my big camera, not even a bad rain, just a little bit, and it have issues with it.
It's amazing these companies haven't adapted in any way to handle a little bit.
Dave, you're going to give away our trade secrets here. We're already working on that behind the
scenes. Oh, what, a Ziploc bag?
Listen, that was the worst thing we did one time. We just take a rain jacket and set it over the camera, and that was just enough that condensation built up inside the camera, just from a rain jacket sitting on top of the camera. It didn't get wet, just the condensation from it. It hurt the camera.
That's weird. That's odd. Well, there's an opening in the market for one of these camera companies. Get a little bit better rainy, snowy conditions. Shut up.
Those of us that are engineers behind the scenes, we're working on this already. Relax.
All right. I got a 50-pack in my cupboard right now. I'll give you.
So, all right. Now this is something, and I've asked several videographers this, several photographers this, and it's, as a professional, if you had some advice to somebody who's just getting out there, just getting into filming, what could you tell somebody that might set them up for success as a videographer or as an outdoor photographer?
Be real. Be yourself. Don't try to be like the people you see on TV. Just be yourself. Be natural. Just let it flow. And, we do it all the time. If we slip up and say something, we keep the camera rolling. We don't retake nothing. It's just once and done and go with it every time.
I like that.
And enjoy it. Make it fun, because sometimes it just gets so hectic that it takes the fun out of it. Enjoy what you're doing.
It's kind of like running a live show. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, see that, Dave? Just go be yourself, man. Go out there, shoot button bucks. You'll be fine, man. Don't worry about it.
Me and you're going to have to talk after this show.
Hey, I've killed many a button bucks in my lifetime too, so I can't say nothing.
Listen, if you do this long enough, that we say this all the time. You do this long enough, listen, you're gonna have stories.
Yep. And if you don't have stories, you're full of shit.
Oh no, you'll have stories.
Yeah. Do you have any social media pages or any accounts like that you actually put some of your own? Like, do you have any of your own like photography or videos from some of these hunts that you have the rights to?
No, everything we goes to Archer's Choice. Everything we film.
Okay. So,
well, if you
have any ambitions of doing it on the side, like, has that ever been a thought for you?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I mean, I film for other people. I don't, I get, like I said, Trent called me, asked me to go film. I talked to them, and they're like, "Yeah, go ahead." So
I got you. Okay.
I mean, we can film other people, but my own stuff. I mean, I do have a lot of hunts that I filmed that are just sitting around my house. I don't know. When I get to go hunting, it's almost like I just want to go hunting. Right. You know what I mean? I don't want to film. I just
for cameras, cut loose like work at that point. Yeah, I can understand.
It is work. It's not what everybody thinks it is. I can tell you that.
All right. What were you gonna say, Chris? We got tied up there.
No, well, I was gonna say, if you don't have anything of your own, if you got anywhere that people can see your work, where can people find your work? Like, things that you've hunted. If you want to promote anybody else at this point, I guess.
I don't know if I have anything. I mean, I'm usually last couple of years I've been on TV on their TV shows. They air my hunts. Like I said, I don't really have any page or anything that I post any of my hunts. Anything we do goes right to them.
Okay.
So, and that's always been the deal. They get the rights to everything.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. We just wanted to give wanted to make sure we gave you a chance just to
Yeah,
let you
yeah,
see
nope.
your work and share it with everybody.
Nope, that's fine. Like I said, when I'm not filming, I'm a taxidermist. So
Hey, really?
yeah, actually, I just won NWTF in Tennessee. I won the Grand Nationals this year on the whitetail mount. I did open mouth whitetail, and I won it.
Really?
Nice.
Yep.
Good for you. That's pretty cool.
Yep. So like I said, when I'm not doing that, that's probably my true passion is doing taxidermy. I just absolutely, and I love doing like habitat scenes, not just a basic commercial mount.
Okay. Man, that's a whole nother episode right there. We'll have to get you back on. We can talk about that for a long time.
Yeah,
I've been waiting on these questions, Dave.
No, we waiting because believe me, we're going to do segments about that. Like people always ask me, like how to skin out a bear for a rug, because there's a different way you skin out a bear for a rug as it could, for mounting it, or what mistakes people make when they skin out a deer. We were going to do segments on their shows about it, like a little segment about taxidermy, what you can do wrong, or don't feel like you shoot an animal out of outfit and you got to leave it there. Like there's different things you can do. You can always bring your mounts back.
Okay.
So
absolutely, that sounds like round 2 for me in the works, without a doubt.
I mean, unless you go hunting in Africa and then you got to wait on your export permits. So if the government of South Africa is listening, I'm still waiting and I'm not happy.
Yeah, but see, you can get it sent back. So I don't know why. Because I'm trying to get my CITES permit right now so people can send it back to me. But I do have friends who go to Africa and they get it back quick. And then I got other people, they've been waiting 2-3 years to get their stuff back from Africa. So I don't know what the problem is on that one.
I think a lot of it has to do with the outfitter. I knew that it was going to be September, October before the permits came in. So I'm expecting that any day at this point. So we'll see. I only got back in June. It's not like it's been all that long.
Okay.
Well, it's just something that you learn. Anytime you talk about it or somebody new, you just like you guys did your homework, beforehand, without a doubt. So just one of those things. You just got to do your research, and any bumps in the road, you just plan for whatever you can ahead of time. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are slowly coming up to that 1 hour mark. Was there anything else on Instagram, Chris?
No, I think we covered it all.
StreamYard is pretty quiet here. We had any more questions from the Squatch or anybody?
Nah. Squatch can.
All right. Squatch Outdoors and Squatch. He's a loyal listener of the show, a good friend of ours. He's always tuning in and always got some good questions for us. So we appreciate his input as always. Gentlemen, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Unless Producer Chris, you got anything else you need to add, buddy?
No. Listen, we'll save the taxidermy for the part 2 of this episode.
I think so. That could be a show dedicated to itself.
There's a lot of questions with taxidermy. I get a lot of strange ones. I get a lot of strange requests too for different mounts.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Truth. I mean, some strange ones.
Listen, I'm buying a house with the specific reason of the one room that I'm turning into my trophy room. Once I saw the photo of that, I was already sold on this house that I'm now buying for that reason. So I'm going to have some taxidermy questions for you because I got to fill the room up and I want it to fit right. So we're definitely going to have part 2 for that.
Yeah, you can have part 2. I got I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions with that one.
Yes, without a doubt. So, all right. I think at that point, Chris, why don't you wrap us up, buddy?
All right. Well, RJ, not for nothing, brother. This was an exciting talk, and I think part 2 may be just as good, if not better.
No problem.
So, thank you for taking the time out. I know it's a lot to ask somebody to come on live on a specific time. So thank you that we were able to get this set up and take some time out. And I hope you had as good of a time as we did.
No, it was good. It went by real fast. It was nice.
It does go quick. So yes, 100%. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us. Anything we can do moving forward in the future, you please just reach out to us. Chris and I and the Prursuit Live team, we're here to support, and anybody that takes the time to support us, we want to be there for them in the back. So thank you again, and we'll tune in next week. We got another good episode coming up, and honestly, I forget who it is, but all the episodes are good. So tune in 8 o'clock.
Well, I mean,
every
except for
Friday.
the open mic nights, you may not want to watch those.
No, we don't hold open mic
those-
night. You don't want to. If we don't have a guest, we call it open mic night, and that tends to be the night where we start sipping some drinks and some
They get a little
cocktails.
rowdy.
So, all right. On that note, let's end it nice and clean for Mr. RJ. Chris, do your thing, buddy. Roll us out.
Again, RJ, thank you for taking the time out tonight, man. This was a good time, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Everybody that tuned in live, thank you for watching. Everybody that'll watch again in the future, thank you for tuning in. Catch us every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Prursuit Live. If you're going to be in the area of Dunbar, PA, September 19th, 20th, and the 21st. Did I get the dates right, Dave?
Yes, sir. You got it.
We will be at the Hunt Chef Deer, Beer, and Gear Expo. Please come check us out. Dave will be there with Urban Pursuit. I will be there with Only Bows. John will be there from Only Bows. Gloria will probably be somewhere in the background. Prursuit Live will be there. We are going to broadcast live that Friday night from the show. Red Sky Safaris will also be joining us. Warhead Arrows will be close by. And the man himself, Hunt Chef, putting on the show, will also be there. As a big fan of the show, we want to, give a shout out to Hunt Chef and everything that he's doing. So everybody that tuned in, RJ, Dave, thank you, everybody. And we'll see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.